I will read the Egyptian literary genre entitled The Happy Man. It is written by an excerpt. The story is all about a man who became happy when he wake up in the morning. In the past, he was very moody, hated people, argued people in his meetings, and defeated in elections. Despite the difficulty, he was now the happy man. When he woke up, he found himself happy. That was the most strange compared with his habitual state of mind in the early morning. For he usually got up with a terrible headache from working late hours in his office, at the newspaper, or with a hangover from too much eating and drinking at some wild party. The worries of the day before and the problems of the present day usually assailed him, so that he dragged himself out of bed with great difficulty, trying to muster all the energy and face the troubles of life. But today, he was unquestionably happy, overflowing with happiness. The feeling was so clear and intense that it imposed itself in his mind and senses. Yes, he was happy. If this was not happiness, what was it then? He felt all his organs were functioning in perfect harmony with each other and with the whole world around him. Inside him was infinite energy and a tremendous capacity to achieve anything with great skill and confidence. In his heart was brimming with love for people, animals, and things, with an overwhelming feeling of optimism, as if he had finally defeated fear, anxiety, sickness, and death. Above all, there was the incomprehensible sensation which penetrated his body and soul, while playing a delightful tune of joy, contentment, and happiness. Intoxicated with his ecstasy, he savored it slowly with a deep sense of wonder about its mysterious source. There was nothing in his past to explain it or in his future to justify it. How did it come? How long would it last? Oh no, this must be a just fleeting mood which could never be permanent. For if it lasts forever, man would become an angel in which the whole world beyond. Let him enjoy it now. Live with it, treasure it, before it became a vague memory in the distant horizon. He ate his breakfast with great appetite, looking from time to time with a bright, smiling face at Aunt Basher, who was serving the food. The old man became increasingly surprised and anxious, because his master did not normally look in his direction except to give orders or ask questions. Then he said to him, "Tell me, Ambassador, am I a happy man?" The man was embarrassed, since the master was for the first time addressing him as a companion or a friend. After moments of uneasy silence, he replied, "My master is happy with God's gift and blessing." Do you mean that I must be happy with my excellent position, beautiful apartment, and good health? Is this what you mean? But do you really think I am a happy man? My master exerts himself beyond human endurance and often gets angry in heated discussions with other people. He interrupted him with a loud laugh and asked, "What about you? Don't you have any worries?" Of course, nobody lives without worries. Do you mean think that perfect happiness is impossible? Well, this is the nature of life. How could Bashar or anybody else imagine his wonderful state of happiness? It was something strange and unique, as if it were his own private secret of all people on earth. In the conference room, all the newspaper is his greatest rival in this world, turning the page of a magazine. The man heard his footstep but did not raise his eyes. No doubt he somehow glanced quickly but tried to ignore him for his own peace of mind. In regular meetings, they often disregard violence and exchange the harshest words until they were on the verge of fighting. And only last week, was shamefully defeated by his rival in the union elections, which was a terrible blow to his pride that filled him with bitterness and darkened his vision. But here he was now approaching his enemy with a pure and carefree heart, intoxicated with that wonderful happiness, overflowing with tolerance and forgiveness, as if he were now another man who conveyed the promise of a new friendship, and without feeling awkward, he smilingly greeted him, taken by surprise. The man raised his eyes in wonder for moments, remained silent until he could collect himself, and answered the greeting briefly, as if he did not believe his eyes and ears. He sat close to him, saying, "The weather is gorgeous today." "Oh yes, it's a kind of weather that fills the heart with deep happiness." The man looked at him cautiously and intent, then mumbled, "I'm glad that you're happy," he said laughingly. "It's happiness beyond comprehension," the other replied hesitantly. "I hope that I will not spoil your mood at the meeting of the editorial board today." "Oh, never. My option is well known to everybody. But I don't mind if the members accept your view. You have changed considerably overnight. In fact, I am happy beyond comprehension. I bet your son has changed his mind about staying in Canada for good." He chuckled and said, "No, my friend, he has not changed his decision, but that was your greatest source." And now, I will answer the literary reflection. Number 1. Why is the primary character described as inconsciably happy in the story? Okay. The primary character was described as inconsciably happy because it is impossible to comprehend why he is happy despite his difficulties in life. It cannot be understood and no one can ever know about him because of what happened to him. Number 2. Can there be an ironic form of happiness as illustrated in the story? Yes, there is an ironic happiness. Number 3. Are Egyptians considered a happy bunch of people? Why? Yes, because they are content with their life, they surround themselves with a happy thought and a happy life. Number 4. What Egyptian customs and traditions are illustrated in the short story? The Egyptian customs and traditions are being happy in times of difficulties and positive